Do millipedes have 1,000,000 legs? Do they even have 1,000? Let's find out about that on another edition of GSC at Home. Hi there folks, my name is David and it is 10 AM and that can only mean it's time for your daily slice of science with GSC at Home. Today I thought we would have a look at another of Glasgow Science Centre's mini beasts. You may remember from a previous video with Aileen that we had a look at our Madagascan hissing cockroaches, but there's actually two other mini beasts that live at Glasgow Science Centre. Now Carla has taken her giant African land snails home during lockdown and I was lucky enough to take home our giant African millipede. Now some of you at home might love mini beasts and others might not be so keen on them, and that is okay. I've always found though, the more you learn about something, the less scary it seems. So I think we should get stuck in and learn a little bit about what our millipede is all about. So I'd like to introduce you to Christina, our giant African millipede. Giant African millipedes actually come from subtropical Africa and are the largest species of millipede on our planet, achieving lengths of up to 11 inches. Christina here is just pushing 10 inches, so she is quite a large millipede. Now millipedes are arthropods. Arthropods are the largest phylum or group of animals that live on our planet. Now it includes animals like lobsters and crabs, insects, spiders, mites, but of course centipedes and millipedes as well. The main distinguishing feature of an arthropod is that they are invertebrates, and that means they don't have an internal skeletal structure. More importantly, they do not have a backbone. What they do have instead is an exoskeleton, a hard covering made of a material called chitin. Chitin is very similar to keratin, which is what our hair and nails are made of. So have a little feel of your nails. It's pretty much what her exoskeleton feels like. So do millipedes have 1,000,000 legs, or do they even have 1,000? Well, their name millipede actually translates to 1,000 legs, but that's still not quite right. And that's not because it's hard to count the millipede's legs, it's actually quite easy. Millipedes have segments running all down their body. They differ in number depending on the species. Your normal garden millipede might have 11 or so. A giant African millipede can have up to 100 segments. Now on each segment there are 2 pairs of legs. So an African giant millipede can have 200 pairs of legs, and that's 400 individual legs altogether. Christina here has 78 segments, I counted them myself, which is 156 pairs of legs, or 312 legs altogether. It's quite impressive that she doesn't trip up, and that's because in each segment she has a collection of nerves, a bit like a little brain in each segment that helps coordinate the movement of those legs to propel the millipede forward and backwards, ensuring that they don't get tangled up together. I don't know about you, I've only got 2 legs and I've tripped up many times in my life. Having a long, tough body means that millipedes are perfectly adapted to where they live, in the undergrowth of the subtropics. That's among the soil and all of the fallen leaves. They find their way around using the small antenna on the front of their heads. Now millipedes do have small eyes, but they mainly distinguish between light and dark, so they rely on their antenna to sense the world around them. They can use them to sense danger, if they get too hot or cold, and where they can find food and water. Giant African millipedes are detritivores. That means they like to eat dead plants and leaves that have fallen to the ground. This is very important in nature because it acts a bit like a recycler, taking up all of that dead plant material, eating it, and eventually pooping it out. And that poop is very helpful. It's a perfect plant fertilizer. So well done, Christina. To keep Christina happy, I provide a variety of different foods. I'll go outside and I will collect some leaves and things that have fallen to the ground that she can chew on, just like she would have in nature. but I also provide lots of fruits and vegetables that she likes to munch on too. In fact, her favourite is peas and pears. A good combination, I think you'll agree. To make sure that Christina has a complete diet and is able to produce a nice hard exoskeleton, I actually add some extra supplements onto her food. I will scrape some cuttlefish bone and add some fish flake foods. And that means that Christina can get all the micronutrients that she needs to produce this beautiful exoskeleton that keeps her nice and safe. Now you'll notice that I'm quite happy to handle Christina here, and that's because she doesn't bite and she doesn't sting. That doesn't mean that she's totally defenceless. If she's feeling threatened, she will curl herself into a spiral, a tight spiral with her head right in the middle, and that'll keep her nice and safe. She actually sleeps in that position as well. If she's feeling a little extra threatened, she might do a poo, which I'm sure would be quite unpleasant for any potential predators. In rare circumstances, millipedes can actually produce a toxin, a liquid or a gas that they squirt out the side of their bodies. And what it can do is cause skin irritation, like burning and itching, which I think would be quite unpleasant. Luckily, in all the time that we've had Christina, she has never released this toxin while we handle her, so I think that means that she's pretty happy and feels safe. What I did find interesting though, is that scientists have observed the monkeys and lemurs in the wild annoying millipedes, giving them a little bite on the back and shaking them until they produce this toxin. Then they take the millipede and rub it all over their body. Now why are they doing that? Scientists can only guess, and they think that they're using it as an insect repellent, which I think is pretty fascinating. To finish up, I thought we would look at how we house Christina to keep her happy and healthy. Being from subtropical Africa, she does need extra heat in the enclosure, and we provide that with a heat mat. She also likes it to be relatively humid, so I've got a humidity sensor that tells me when I have to spray the tank with some water. Now millipedes are nocturnal, which means that they are active during the night time. Christina, however, is active at all times of the day, I've noticed. Her favourite pastime is to dig tunnels all over her tank. She's got an extensive network of tunnels that she uses to explore and to rest, and it is pretty interesting to watch. I think she wants to go and build one of those tunnels now, so I'm going to pop her back into her enclosure. Thanks, Christina. I hope you enjoyed meeting our giant African millipede today, and why not take the time to head out into your garden and see if you can find some millipedes of your own. They might not be as big as Christina, but they're just as interesting. Now remember, if you're ever handling any creatures, be very, very gentle with them and always put them back where you found them. And thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you again at 10 AM for another GSE at Home.